Well, let's rewind time to like 2005, 6, 7, because this is the genesis of the Warner Brothers picture, only written by Jon Abrams. You're the only writer in this.
Correct.
There's no co-authors. There's no other.
Yeah.
I mean, you did the rewrites. It's all just you.
That's right.
Directed by Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Might be the last film we've ever seen. Is the highest rated movie production, how do they call that? The studio produced movie of the year. Still holding?
I think so. It's at 94 on Rotten Tomatoes as of yesterday. Or
Crazy.
Pretty
And
good. Yeah.
But you wrote this when?
I think I wrote the first draft, maybe not quite in mid 2000s, but late 2000s. And we were roommates at that point.
Yep.
And it was just an idea that I had. I mean, I can tell you the story of where it came from.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. A friend of mine, who's a judge, he's the youngest judge in the California Superior Court currently. He's a former prosecutor. And he called me up and he asked for my help one day with a closing argument in a case that he was trying as a prosecutor. He had a sort of losing case and was willing to throw up a Hail Mary. Like, what would happen in a movie if Matthew McConaughey found himself up against it, at the 90-minute mark, and he needed to do some crazy thing to win the case? See, that's how he presented it to me. And I said, all right. And so I help him write this argument. We win the case. And from then on,
But you were writing before this, though, right?
I was a screenwriter before this, but never thought I was writing comedies, and this was led to the creation of Juror Number 2 because I spent all this time subsequently helping him with his cases. So I would go down to the court, I would watch the trial happen, so I was across it and I knew what was going on. And one day in court during voir dire, all the potential jurors, are trying to get excused from jury duty. It's a scene in the movie, and the judge is not having it. And I asked myself, what could someone say right now to this judge in order to get dismissed? Your Honor, I can't serve on this jury because I committed the crime. And I'm like, oh, that's good. And I didn't know what the movie was at that point. I probably came home and said to you, honey, I'm home, so this crazy thing happened today. And
Brian had a nice glass of Chianti, some lamb ready for
right.
you.
I was still in the apron, actually.
Pigs in a blanket.
Only the
yes.
apron, yeah.
And
he's a big dude, so it didn't cover much. So, yeah.
And so from there, we just batted ideas. It took a while to come together, but I always knew that was a really good, ironic concept. You show up for jury duty and you realize, oh my God, I'm responsible for this crime. And then what do you do? That moral dilemma. That was the genesis of Juror Number 2.
Convict whatever asshole they've got.
Yes.
Mauro has no moral dilemma.
your
The
best.
movie would have ended 20 minutes in.
Do your best to convict whatever asshole they pinned it on.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that's a smart plot point in the movie, is that John makes the guy sort of a reprehensible character where, you kind of want to see the guy go to jail. He's not a good dude, but he's not totally
But
bad.
it hinges, and I think what is interesting about it, because you're right, that is certainly a path to take. The other path would be, well, I can't send an innocent person to jail for something that they didn't do, but it's wrestling with that question, which is really like the nexus of the story.
And he's got a family. I mean, it's
He's
set
got
up
a
really
baby
well.
on the way. I mean, we are gilding the lily as much as we possibly can. Baby on the way, right? Like
So
they
this is late
depended on him.
2000s, and when does it actually get picked up? Like what?
So I write numerous drafts, including one similar to the one that you pitched, where it really is more of like almost a David Fincher type of movie where it's dark.
Yeah.
And this guy, unlike the movie that was made, where everybody is willing to convict this guy right out of the gate, and all our guy has to do is just agree, movie over, but he can't do it, right? Well, there was the inverse, where he is a bad dude who wants to see this guy go down, and all the other jurors are kind of like, I don't know, there's something about this case that doesn't quite make sense. So he's actively prosecuting this trial from within the jury room. So I tried all these different versions, and around 2017,
Wow.
I sold the script finally. So it took a while. And then it wasn't until 2022 that Warner Brothers ultimately bought it. So I optioned it to a production company. They were going to make it in like the $5 million range, kind of a small, really contained, kind of lower budget movie. That didn't end up happening. And then they said, well, okay, who would you like to direct it? Let's start there. I said, what about Clint Eastwood?
No.
They said dream big. And his people liked it. They passed it on to him, and then he read it, and he said, all right, I want to do it. It's incredible. That was in 2022.
What a
Fall of
moonshot.
2022.
What
It's
a
a moonshot. Sometimes
That's fast.
you take a moonshot
That's fast.
and it pays off. Yes. In terms of a studio movie getting made, 2 years from the date of sale to release. Pretty fast.
Wow. I mean, that's faster than it takes Morrow to like take a shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's not true. He's like can do it in half a
I can
second.
do it in a second. Clint is interesting. I see Clint, seen him a few times in the last couple of years, but
Oh.
I go up to Monterey a lot,
Ah, yes.
and I go to Carmel a lot because I like to play golf up there. If I'm going to play, I like to play good places. And Clint owns this bar in Carmel called the Hog's Breath Inn,
Yeah.
which happens to be the coolest fucking bar like in the world. If you've never been to the Hog's Breath Inn in Carmel, it's Clint Eastwood's place. So you go in there and it's like all these like dirty, hairy posters on the wall and shit, and good, the bad, and the ugly. All this. So if you're like Clint, you love the bar. And Clint is always known to be there, and I've seen him there. And man, he is fucking old, man.
He's 94.
Yeah, but it's the last I saw him like 6 months ago, and he was dragging himself through the bar. I was like, hoping the son of a bitch didn't fall over.
No,
It's
you were
like,
actually hoping that he did.
No, it's just like,
He
damn,
wanted a
he's
case.
old, but
Yeah.
he can still direct a movie, huh?
Can still direct a movie. He has great people around him at his production company. He's worked with the same crew for 20, 30 years. So it's like almost like a circus minus all the, nonsense. It's like it's a group that works very well together,
And
so
he's
that's
like a
part of how he
one-shot
does it.
guy too, right? Like he gets
Yeah,
it
he
done.
does things very, to the point. That's just him as a person, but also on set. Yeah, he's doing basic setups and then like 2 takes, maybe 3. But it's not like, hey, let's play, let's find it.